Scott Wessex Blades. Had a customer order after something along the Emberleaf and Sandy hunter-gatherer, but with my take on it. So obviously holes me in different place, my stuff's different steel, skeleton eyes as opposed to solid stock, and ventilation holes. I've took them as a guide and I've freehanded it. I've done a cardboard template. I'm using 52-100 at the present time because it does take a fantastic micro bevel. So I'm just going with this for now. It's going to be pretty light because I'm only using it's about 3.7, 3.8 millimeter 52-100 by the time that I've done all the removing the scale and finished the blade off. The pins themselves will be solid rather than tube, so no muck can get in, stand inside the holes, but a very sleek, easy to handle, as in handle, not handle, easy to use. But what I want to be mindful of is when I do the edge and I'm going across there, I want to come up to a point that's not as lean as it would be if I kept the same geometry along the straight of the blade, if that makes sense. When it gets to the actual tip, maybe I'm going to go and get it a little bit more obtuse than it would be if I carried on exactly the same angle. So that'll be a case of when I'm coming off the belt, when I'm grinding it, I just turn earlier. So you make it an abrupt tip, so that when you're going around and you're doing whatever you're doing with Bambi. Alright, Sonic. He's kind of hedgehogs. Alright, Basil Brush. And whenever you're doing animals out in the middle of nowhere, you don't necessarily want the sharpest tip in the world. The tip goes behind the initial cut, but it's sort of there just doing the actual cutting of the material. Tissue. Yes, so that's my initial prototype. You don't go into production unless you've had a play, unless you've had a lot of thought beforehand. Yes, a lot of great ideas can be done on a fag packet in a pub, serviette, napkin. Those ideas have to have a little bit more development, so you come up with a template in hand, feels right, feels like it's the right approach for this style of knife. Don't necessarily need 4mm, so by the time that I'm going to be doing a lot of surface grinding, I'm just going to skim that down a little bit more and end up with about 3.7. You know, my blanks are skeletonized. There's a lot of material has been took out of that, so it's quite light. I'm going to be going for G10 as opposed to my Carter, because it's pretty impervious to bits and bobs of fluids. But yeah, I wanted a long swept up design, so that sweep starts about here, long and slow, and then it'll drop off at the front. A lot narrower than my usual camp knives. My knives are always like the next big brother up from what a wood lore would be. I've never really gone down wood lore the exact dimensions, which would be sort of 240mm. Mine are generally a little bit beefier, so I had a lot of steel to play with here. That my blades are sort of like, I got 3mm top and bottom stock to play with, so I was able to do this upswept butcher field dressing style of blade, able to take the back end down like this to give something comfortable. You don't necessarily need a real bird's head on the top of that, just something neat and rounded. That's plenty of stock. This thing's generally not going to be whacking through hardwood, so just be catching up with the Goloks, the Leuku and the Merlins. This one itself needs the next surface grind, and then we're all doing horizontal profiling all around the outside. So that'll be tomorrow, but it's just a quick show and tell. Obviously the customer was after this design of knife. I am making inroads into it, but of course I need to test it first. I need to get some leather. There is an option. There's a chance at the prepper meet there's some going on somewhere, so obviously I'll just go have a play if that's the case. So I'm aiming to get this done for the prepper meet, not necessarily the Stuart's Golok, because he can't make it. So I'm sort of changing my tack a little bit. I'll get what I can done for the prepper meet, but if I can get this done as you know, show and tell when I'm there, people can see it, feel it, see the sort of presentation. So whether the level of finish is my usual or not, it's on its way at some point. But yeah, I really want to put this through a few tests just to feel in hand. To me, it feels just right. Nice, light, sleek, not overly robust. Doesn't really need to be like that. But I'm thinking it's going to be a lot slimmer yet. But of course, I've got all the potential in the world to take the grind high, take the back down a little bit more, so when it's in its final iteration it'll be pretty close to what the final profile will be like, which will then give me a template to do the real one. So I've left myself scope, because you know, I could have had the depth of the blade right, but I could have had it so I couldn't take any more off of the top, and I needed to have. So I've got opportunity to take it off the bottom or off the top, depending on once I put the profile on and I feel how it moves. I then have opportunity to just grind it a bit more that way or grind it a bit more that way. As it is, I've got 2 or 3 mil top and bottom to have a play with, so it can be in time in the future slightly sleeker than what it is now. So thanks for joining me, Scott Wessex Blades 8, and big production on these, I don't know, but it was a customer order and I thought, why not? Let's have a play. That's what he's after. He wants my version of a sort of an outdoor stalker blade, which is nice to feel that someone wants that thing in my style. So there you go. This will be the code name prototype Fox Taker, just so in my mind I know what it's called. All the best, Scott Wessex Blades 8.